Hello, all. Welcome, fools. Yeah, be a fool. Be you. Show up and be yourself. That's what the world needs, is for us to show up and be ourselves, be true to ourselves, be love for ourselves, so that we can be love for we, and be the love that we need to be. Be the love that we are for all of we, but mostly the gift that we are has been given to ourselves, for us to receive, for us to offer, for us to grow, for us to share, for us to be and become. Yeah, all we are. And so, yeah, I'd like to offer some more on alchemy tools and my play practice and my personal experiences and what I've learned and what I have discovered about me and we and she and thee and all this love we be, and how everything's connected and related, and we're all the love that we need. Yeah, we are. And so there's no lack. There's no lack. We've just been taught to focus on that lack and believe in that lack, believe that we're not enough, or believe that we're too much. And that's just the judge. So there's those two archetypal players at play, or playing at being, that are a huge influence in our lives. And though that if you tell me how you see these characters, these archetypes pop up in your own stories, in your own life, in your own world and bubble, and on the outer stage and play the judge and the victim. And so the judge is always judging everything, because that's how the judge makes sense of things and constructs his reality and his sense of superiority, or his sense of belonging, or sense of himself in the scheme of things, to judge and describe and to minimize, or put in a box. Yeah. So it's static and it's really not alive. I mean, it's fine to describe things because that's what we that's what we do to communicate sometimes, but if we're always using scripts or operating from different scripts, then we're not really seeing the whole picture and all that this really is and all that we really are. So that's some interesting shiz there. And the victim. The victim is one of our survival strategy players. There's 4 survival strategy archetypes, and that has to do with some of our unresolved trauma from when we were kids. And those are the whore, the prostitute, the victim, the saboteur, and what's the other one? The judge, or the child. Yes, the child. And so, we all revert sometimes when we're put into fear or something that rocks our world, where we kind of automatically sometimes go into those archetypes for survival strategies. They're just our old patterns that we learned to operate in a dysfunctional world, so that we could be more adjusted to a sick world and a sick society. So have you heard that quote, being well adjusted to a sick society is no true measure of health? Yeah, and that's where we are. So a lot of the times, we don't, we're not well adjusted, and we kind of have our breakdowns, and our tower collapses. That's number 16, the tower. So the tower collapses when there's not a strong foundation, and it's just part of the growth cycles, the growth and life cycles of change. And so the universe helps us out sometimes when we're not aligned with who we really are, or with what we really want, or with what the world really needs from us, why we're here. And we've all have lessons to learn, and parts to play, and things to experience that we've chosen to experience. And so sometimes on our path, our tower collapses, And then that's an opportunity to rebuild. And it is like our chance to be new, to die and to be born again. And so it's an opportunity to build something newer and more true, and more in alignment with solid foundations. So sometimes, yeah, it takes that like fall from the tower for us to be willing to let go sometimes of what was really not serving us, or what just wasn't working for us, or just we outgrew and we just kept clinging on to it because we didn't know what else to do, or we were afraid of the unknown, or what else was possible, or we didn't really know, we were checked out or kind of autopilot or whatnot. So these things shake us up. It's like a shake up, wake up kind of a thing. And it is like, yeah, the dark night of the soul, and where everything like we've ever known like just dissolves and collapses and is no longer viable. And so yeah, it is like time to gather up the pieces, you know, that are still viable or that will serve the whole, and then recycle the rest and let go of the rest for renewal and reformation and refortification and restructuring. So yeah, that's kind of like, I've gone through that process many a time in my life, and it does, it's very painful. It's a very painful experience. It's very agonizing. It's brutal. Where we feel like we're dying, or sometimes we feel like maybe death would be easier sometimes, you know? But yeah, it's a real struggle sometimes, like gathering ourselves back together, or returning to ourselves and returning to our hearts and what we really need, like what our well-being is asking for. And so, yeah, it's a process. It's part of the process. And so, yeah, a few times that I've gone through, like my own towers collapsing. Yeah, it could be a divorce. It could be a death of a loved one. It could be a loss of a job. It could be the loss of a friendship. Yeah, it's just like losing something. It feels like we're losing something and grieving something and mourning something, or something's been ripped or torn away from us. And so it can feel like a part of ourself is missing, and that's why we sometimes feel so empty and so, you know, alone. And yeah, it is a hard process, yeah, to go through, and we all go through it in our own ways, but we can relate, you know. And sometimes those like hardest things that feel like, you know, like a curse sometimes at the time, when we work through it and we get through it and, you know, we learn through it, it becomes one of our like greatest gifts, you know, that we have, and we gain wisdom through that experience, and it changes us. Because yeah, we wouldn't be able to have the opportunity, or maybe we wouldn't be able to let go or like start to grow if those things, you know, weren't kind of just given back so that we can grow. And so yeah, forgiving. So it is a valid and a legitimate part of the process, you know. But sometimes we try and avoid that avoidance, try to avoid the pain. But that's like what collapses the tower in the first place, is not paying attention to those signals, and not paying attention to those signs, and not paying attention to those inner whispers and that inner voice. But it's okay. Like it teaches us to start to become more aware in hindsight of what those signals or those signs or those like little red flags or those little messages, are. And so yeah, it's all about the message. Are we ignoring the messages that we're receiving, or is there a false medium, you know, interfering with those true messages? Is there a false medium feeding us yeah, messages, yeah, that aren't true for us and that don't serve us? And so everyone gets to look at that for themselves, you know. But the most important thing I've learned on my journey when I was just starting out a couple years ago, asking myself questions that I'd never asked before and questions that I never thought to ask before. One of those questions is, why don't I trust myself? And I got some interesting answers. Yeah. And so that's a great question to ask. And then I agreed, okay, I'm willing to trust myself. And so I am willing. And so just putting it out there, and then the opportunities arise. The universe gives us the opportunities to teach us how to trust ourselves, and to love ourselves, and to be true to ourselves. And once we're more true with ourselves and we're living in our integrity, then it's a little easier to navigate and pay attention to how certain things make us feel. Listen to that intuition, listen to that inner voice, that instinct, what our body tells us. Our body has natural intelligence, and it's part of our intuition. And so, it has that irrational intelligence. Our body does. It does all these things, and we don't have to consciously, tell it to do anything. It just does it because it's operating in an irrational, irrationally intelligent way. So messages. And this was a synchronicity that I have this week with Hawk. And Hawk is a medicine companion and totem that is the messenger and connected to Mercury, the mind. And that was kind of cool because I had a dream this week. I was in and out of waking and dreaming states. And I got this thing about the Hermit's mind. And then that same day I opened up my book and I was reading about Hawk. And it mentioned Mercury and the mind and messages. So I'll read you a little bit about Hawk. Messenger. Hawk is akin to Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Hawk medicine teaches you to be observant, to look at your surroundings. Observe the obvious in everything that you do. Life is sending you signals. Life is the initiation. If you have pulled the Hawk card, then right now a clue about the magic of life is being brought to you. This magic can imbue you with the power to overcome a currently stressful or difficult situation. The test is your ability to observe the nuances of power lurking nearby. Is power the talent you have and are not using? Are solutions always hard to find because you have lost the broader vision of Hawk? Or is the Great Spirit displaying a gift that you need only to receive? Have the colors of the morning inspired you to create? Or has the gloominess of a present situation left you earthbound, unable to hear the voice within the raindrops splashing on your window? Pay attention. You are only as powerful as your capacity to perceive, receive, and use your abilities. What is called for here is an intuitive ability to discern the message carried within the cry of Hawk. The shrillness of Hawk's call pierces the state of unawareness and asks you to seek the truth. The ancients recognized this magnificent bird of prey as a messenger bringing tidings to their earthwalk, the good red road from the world of the grandfathers and grandmothers who lived before them. If Hawk were to magically cry, it was a sign to beware or to be aware. This could mark the coming of a warring tribe, the birth of a child, or the celebration of counting coup. Hawk's cry signaled the need for the beholder to heighten awareness and receive a message. Hawk medicine is a totem that is filled with responsibility because Hawk people see the overall view. Hawk is not like Mouse, who sees everything through a magnifying glass. Hawk medicine people are aware of omens, messages from the spirit, and the color of the calling card you gave them 3 months ago. No detail slips by them unnoticed. If Hawk is circled and landed in your card spread, you are to be aware of signals in your life, so notice and receive them. Hawk may be teaching you to grab an opportunity which is coming your way. On the other hand, Hawk may be bringing you the message that you should circle over your life and examine it from a higher perspective. From this vantage point, you may be able to discern the hazards which bar you from freedom of flight. Remember, Hawk has a keen eye and a bold heart, for the Hawk flies close to the light of Grandfather's sun. It's Hawk, the messenger. And then reversed, the contrary meaning of Hawk, and I think this is great info. If you have drawn Hawk reversed, it may be because you have shut down your powers of observation on some level. If something in your life has become too painful to feel, too unbelievable to hear, or too dark to see, it is time to examine the point at which you chose to let yourself become emotionally involved and to no longer be the observer. When you allow your emotions to override your perceptions, the message from Hawk cannot penetrate the chaos and confusion. At this point, you're asked to be mindful of the honest observer's neutral position, which allows the message to be intuitively and clearly understood without emotion coloring its true meaning. Emotional coloring is a tendency of hawk medicine people when they are off balance. Their emotions cloud their vision and lead to a crash landing. The ego can clip the wings and leave Hawk grounded. Also, if Hawk believes that those who cannot fly the same way he or she does have weaker perceptions, then the winged messenger has not understood his or her own medicine. So, if Hawk believes that those who cannot fly the same way that he or she does have weaker perceptions, then the winged messenger has not understood his or her own medicine. So that's kind of funny. And there's a quote that this kind of came up and that matched that from my Joseph Campbell book. Freedom of flight is a privilege, and being a messenger is an honor. The responsibility for delivery of the message is up to you. Take your flight and forget about interpreting the omen your own way. Let the receiver decide what the message means. After all, unless it was sent specifically for you, you would be tampering. Hawk, in the contrary position, teaches you 1. To open up to the powers of observation. 2. Not to tell others how to think or behave. 3. To take care of your own emotional baggage before you begin receiving omens, visions, or messages. And 4. To remember that all gifts are equal in the eyes of the Great Spirit. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And a good reminder, too, that we all have our abilities that we get to cultivate and grow and appreciate. And we all have our limitations and we all have our blind spots. And that's why we all need each other. We all need different viewpoints to help us put the whole picture together, or to help us allow like this diverse creative experience. And there wouldn't be like any growth or any innovation or any creativity if we all thought the same and we're all in groupthink, or we all thought there was only one way to be or one right way to be. And that reminds me of like, you have your way, I have my way. As for the correct way, that does not exist. It's like a Nietzsche quote, something along those lines. So yeah, I remember that. Like, I know we have all ways, and so it's love all ways. But like, it's kind of funny how we get stuck in our own one way, and then we expect everyone else to follow that one way, or to understand that one way, or to get with that one way. And yeah, it's kind of silly the way that we kind of believe that. But and it's really limiting. It limits and it dishonors, and it's not allowing of the fullness that we are and the fullness that we can be, you know. And so that's a big thing that's come up for me lately, is us in certain ways, and even I've noticed it in myself, like subtle things in subtle ways. And I'm gonna share what happened this week for me. But like, I mean, it's been coming up for a little while, and I've worked on like this story for a couple years, like on layer by layer, allowing like more of my feelings, and integrating and processing like certain things as far as like anger goes, because anger wasn't ever a safe or a right emotion for, me to express, or to allow, or to be allowed to be angry, or to express that anger. And so, what I would usually do would be to turn it on myself, and be silent and withdraw and isolate, and then turn it inward and be depressed, and then or resentful, just kind of resentful about certain things. I mean, I've never been really one to hold grudges, but like, I was always the hardest on me, and that resentment, like, was kind of the way I dealt with it. But anger, so integrating like anger and expressing anger and allowing anger, like that came up about a year or two ago, where it was the summertime and it was during the eclipse season, and I noticed like certain feelings of anger, like that didn't seem like really justified. Like, where is this coming from? Like, why am I so angry about this? And kind of catching myself in stories about like, oh, I shouldn't be angry about this. I shouldn't feel angry. But then like catching myself and realizing, okay, I feel this anger, I'm going to acknowledge what, I'm feeling this. I'm going to just observe it. I'm going to meet it with love, and I'm going to like welcome it, and I'm going to ask this anger to show me like what my love is asking for, and what's asking for inclusivity, and what's asking for belonging, and what's asking for like a place to be and to be expressed so that it can be freed. And yeah, all of that, and free up some energy and like just move it and be okay with like feeling and expressing it, because it was really hard to feel it, and I always felt so guilty for feeling angry that I would never allow myself to really like express it, feel it, or do anything with it. And that's like kind of like where I was kind of giving my power away, and my power was like kind of hijacked because of my like suppression of anger and grief. I mean, because that's what it really stems from. It's like really grief and sadness and sorrow and all that. So, but I realized, yeah, why don't I allow me my anger? Because I realized like there was someone I was in relationship with, and I was expressing like my irritation and my frustrations, and like, yeah, like, and they didn't really take it very well. And it wasn't like it was unkind, but it was just like a place where they'd never really been comfortable. Like maybe they weren't comfortable because I was expressing something that was, it kind of didn't seem like me, I guess, because it was me operating from a different place where I was being more authentic about how I was feeling. And they didn't respond very well and took it personally. And I wondered, kind of doing some introspection, why am I not allowed to have my stuff? Why am I not allowed to have my moments? Why am I not allowed to feel my anger? Like, why do I have to be so perfect and cater and make everyone else comfortable all the time? Why can't I like be a human? All that. And it was just like, made me really mad. Like, why can't I be mad? It makes me mad that I can't be mad. So it was just kind of silly. But like, it was good for me to see that, like, and be with that and receive that. And then I realized, oh, okay, like, I'm not allowing myself to feel it and to express it and to own it and all that. And I definitely got further lessons in that the last couple months. Oh my gosh, because it was like so much like that kept coming at like in different ways. It's just like that activate different wounds and stuff, like, yeah, charge and just want to roar, like, gonna see it, like, so, but yeah, definitely feel like there's been a new balance too, like with being able to work with that and allow it and honor it, and yeah, fully allow it. And so it's been it hasn't been easy, but like it's been like really interesting, and now, yeah, it feels like really have had some breakthroughs and some really good insights about my own anger, and yeah, how it is like a huge power that I was rejecting. And like there's a saying in the East that goes, find your anger and there you will find your energy. And so it's like, oh, we're suppressing our energy because we're suppressing our anger and we're suppressing our feelings, and that's really what our energy is. It's like to work with and to create with, yeah, and to feel and to be with and to be a part of it, all things with, like through our emotions and all that. So yeah, anger. So why are we disallowing? Why are we disallowing of ourselves? Why are we disallowing of life? Why are we disallowing of our fullness? Why are we disallowing like the wholeness and the fullness of life and all the life cycles and all that goes along with that, Like, so it's on multiple levels where we don't allow each other, we don't allow life or the goddess, and we don't allow, ourselves, each other. So there are some things that came up for me this week about disallowance, and I have been working with that, like, yeah, for a long time. If there is something new that came up, And yeah, it's just helping me to really understand how to allow certain things, but how to still respond and do my thing too. Like, allow everything to be as it is, allow all now. And then also allow how I'm feeling and allow what I need and allow my receptivity and my inner knowing and my responsibility to respond and to claim what I need and to participate. Yeah. So. All right. All right. So if we cling so tightly to a rigid life, we are smothering, disallowing, repressing full expression, connection, reception, forgiving, releasing, receiving, opening, allowing, freeing, being, sharing, relating, exchanging, seeing, generating, cooperating, co-creating, living, dying, resurrecting, cycling, recycling, regenerating gifts to give, share, receive, grow, know, be, and become, for God, for we, for she, for all, one love, for all the love we be. So it says challenge the shit and the bliss too. Allow discomfort to transmute. So sometimes we don't like being uncomfortable, and that's why we stay in our comfort zone, or that's why we avoid pain, we avoid discomfort, and we disallow. Yeah, we check out, or however we do. That's part of disallowing our fullness, like avoiding like the uncomfortable stuff, or the stuff that we don't like, or the stuff that challenges us, and go and hide. But that like does contribute to like rot and to dying, like to not really living, but like slowly dying, you know? And so I get to allow myself, even though like there's maybe something that I don't like, or something that feels uncomfortable, or doesn't feel quite right, or doesn't feel all right, or whatever that is. Like it's not my ideal, or it's not my preference, or whatever. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have value and that's not a gift for me, or hold something for me. So I allow myself to feel what I'm feeling, and but I choose restraint, and I work it out in my own certain ways so that I don't lash out or dump on others. And like, of course, we all make mistakes too, and we're all learning as we go, and we're all winging it together, and that's how we learn through our relationships and through relating. And so like that's why everyone that we're in relationship with are our greatest teachers, and they are our mirrors and reflections to help us be accountable and to help us like develop and strengthen and honor that integrity that we can choose, yeah, to be and to honor. So this is, I've been working with the Dark Goddess and Death 13, and the Hermit, looking within, introspection, and going within to see from the light within. And then Justice and just as. So allowing all that is so that all can be what it really is and what it gets to be. So I don't need to like how it is in certain ways, but I can allow all ways to be. It just makes me feel frustrated when others aren't open to listening or allowing another perspective to be. But whatever, there doesn't need to be any understanding, really. People so full of their stuff that it's sick, sigh, their stories, identities, fears, vanities, scripts, assumptions, beliefs, insecurities, demons, unhealed aspects, complexes, and programming. Oh well, I guess it just gets to be all it is, and all it will be. I release all now to allow and surrender, all to thee she loved to be. So, let's see. I can focus on the goodness rather than the lack or the shortcomings from those who are not able, open, or willing to be with me, or allow me to be all I am. All my love for all of me, and we, she, and me. All my love for me. I am the love that I need, and I choose it for me. I am loyal to me and my responsibilities. Fuck what anyone else chooses to see. I'm accountable to me. And so I was feeling grateful that I changed my focus. That's magician. A magician. magical me. It's my focus and my attention and my intentions and my reception and my perception that creates my reality. The gatekeeper of consciousness. So, yeah, I was feeling grateful because I changed my focus, and I was looking at, instead of rather what was lacking, I was looking at actually what I was being offered and given, and how many loved ones and friends that I do have that do open and do share with me and are authentic and allow me to be authentic and allow me to be and express who I am, you know, and I'm really grateful for that because I do have some good support and allies. Mutual respect, trust, admiration, and care, love, and sharing, giving, receiving, all of that. So that feels good. So I'm going to focus on, those gifts that I do have, and then like look at maybe some of the limitations with others too, and know that it's okay where it's at as it is, and see like what wants to become or what wants to be released or, you know, let go of or surrendered, you know, there with the other stuff. And like it just is like another part of the whole, just a double side of the same coin, that just gets to show us different things about where we may be disallowing our own self or not being true to ourselves, or maybe need to set boundaries, or maybe need to speak up, or maybe need to ask for something that we need, or maybe withdraw our energy, or know that maybe it's a toxic relationship or it's not working, and like be willing to like let it go so that like some of it can be composted and maybe something new can grow, or it can just be free to go, you know, and free to be. So yeah, that's love for we. Letting it go and letting it be all it needs, but like still participating and choosing what we need for we, and being true to like our well-being. And sometimes like, we just kind of learn as we go, and if we take like a little detour, we'll get back on our road, you know, like we're always where we're meant to be, like learning and growing, different stages and phases and cycles, and through our growth and our transformation. And that's what it's all about. Like life always is growing and transforming and becoming something else. That's what she does. And so if we're not allowing the same thing for ourselves or for others in our lives, that's very disallowing. And I know we've been kind of conditioned and trained to like want things that we like or that we're comfortable with to stay the same, and that's just like because we're afraid of the unknown, or we're afraid of losing something, or maybe we're afraid of, you know, insecurities, like if someone grows and like maybe they'll outgrow us, or, you know, or the relationship will end, or something, you know, like shakes up the comfort zone, or the staleness maybe sometimes where we got too comfortable and like, we're not really breathing life into it anymore, but like kind of clinging to it and smothering it, but like, and that's not contributing to growth. And so that's kind of sometimes like when the tower just crumbles. So fear of the unknown, that is Jaguar, helping us embrace the unknown. Or no, that is Black Panther. Yes, Black Panther. And Black Panther was one of my favorite animals when I was a kid. That was like the first animal I wanted to go see. And the lions, you know, too, like the big cats. And but the Black Panther always fascinated and mesmerized me. It was just like such a powerful animal, such a beautiful animal. And she is to help us embrace the unknown. And Jaguar is for integrity and impeccability, to help us like on our road to cultivate that integrity and to be true to our word and to honor our word and to work with that. And that's the chariot, our word, the word. In the beginning there was the word. So it's not really all about me anyway. So I'll let it be, set it free, and love is free to be. And then here's what I felt like was coming up with that disallowance story, because I was so, like, it wasn't like it was a huge thing, but it did bring up some feelings, and so I thought, okay, I'll write these down because this is asking me to pay attention, and so I will, and I'll just be with it, and I'll see what's going on here, what kind of stories, and what kind of like, what this aspect has to say, that this aspect that hasn't been allowed because I haven't allowed it, or I haven't felt like other people have been allowing of me to be. And so this is what she said. So deny, to protect, to insulate, avoid, and hide, to play small and deny. Clench up and hold tight to what needs to die for new life to be reborn. Oh wait, okay, here we go. I write so sloppy sometimes because I'm just like, writing it all out, and just like, yeah, this is kind of hard sometimes to read later, but I do my best. Funny. Yeah, to deny is to clench up and hold tight to what needs to die. So we're like preventing it from being released. So if we're preventing, you know, what needs to die, like from being able to die, sometimes like a part of us inside feels like we're dying, you know, and it's, yeah, and that's like kind of some part of the root of disease sometimes, because it's dis-ease and it's discomfort. We're trying to avoid it, but yet we cause ourselves so much pain by clinging and holding tight and clenching tight. So say yes to life and let go and surrender and be with life, you know, be life, live. So this is what the Dark Goddess says, that wasn't allowed and that was condemned and that was shunned. She says, fuck you. Fuck the part of you that doesn't allow me. Fuck the part of you that has disowned me. Fuck the part of you that thinks you own me or that I owe you. Fuck the part of you that stones me. Fuck the part of you that shuns me. Fuck the part of you that doesn't see me for all I am. Love that part of your whole to bring her home again. Allow and unfold. So I ask questions. Why are we clinging so tight? Because we fear the unknown, death, pain, suffering, discomfort, and disease. We reject it. We scorn, condemn it. We avoid, we misdirect for false protection, false perception, illusion of safety, controlled, dominated, medicated, suppressed, unexpressed, inverted energy, siphoning true life force energy. If we cling so tightly to a rigid life, we are smothering, disallowing, or repressing full expression, connection, reception. And so I said, although I really don't like your shut down, closed-minded attitude, I really thank you for the play practice, for all I get to choose, so thank you. You're free to be, and I am free to be. I forgive you your shortcomings and limitations. I forgive and release you. Thank you. I forgive and release you to be you, to know you, to free you, to love you, to own you, to hold you. I release you. I release me. I forgive me. I release me. I forgive you. I release you. I forgive all. I release all. So it is, so let it be. And so, yeah, that was like one, like letting go of one layer of it, but then there was another layer that came up again. And so I continued investigating and just kind of allowing it to unfold and express through me. And so, yeah, what was bothering me is like, what bothers me most is the closed off, better than you attitude, the insecurity. Sheesh. Can't open to anything new that doesn't fit neatly into your box of convenience? Is your truth that flimsy or fallible? Is your ego so fucking fragile? Apparently so. LOL. Do you expect everyone to meet our ideals and our ways of being? Maybe so. Maybe we can choose to meet others where they are at and encourage and allow that for ourselves too. Oh well. So maybe we can choose to meet others where they're at and encourage and allow that for ourselves too. So let us be where we're at, maybe, and meet each other where we're at, not where we think that the other or ourselves should be at. You know, like that's expectations and that's like ideals, and not that we shouldn't have those, you know, but like really it's disallowing of what is and with what we get to work with, and yeah, with how life is and how we are. Like we do have our strengths, our limitations, our gifts, and our potential. Can we allow all those four? Our strengths, limitations, gifts, and potential? Can we allow all that? Because we can't really create and we can't operate if we don't have all those things. So can we start to allow those things and stop judging and condemning them? Can we be accountable for our things and our stuff and own it? So I'm willing. So, yes, dear medicine. Remembering faith, love, and trust and innocence. The gift of power is inner knowing, that we're held, supported, and loved always, no matter what. No matter where we're at, no matter what's going on, we're always supported, held, loved. And we can offer that to ourselves. We can offer that support and that space to be held and that love. So meet it with love, discernment, allowance, opening, rooting, relaxing into love. So unresolved conflicts. Yeah. I'm so tired of pomposity and closed-mindedness, arrogance and not enoughness or too muchness. Bullshit sandwich. Eat it. Fucking Loch Ness monster up in the night. Fucking bullshit. Business, shizness, jizness. Fuck off. Get out of my sight. LOL, rejection. Gonna tell it how it is, I guess. Like a boss and like an asshole. Challenging. Challenging the asshole. It's like, what the fuck ever, own your own shit. It ain't mine to carry, not carrying it. Not mine to carry, get the fuck over it. And one more thing. Fuck the disallowance and your intolerance for another. That's bullshit. Motherfucker clown shoes tripping over this rejection wound. No room for my story, no room for allowance, no room for my experience, no room for my knowledge, no room to express, no room for authentic, no room for exchange, no room for connection, no room for giving, no room for receiving, no room for sharing, no room for all of me and we. So how to make the room, how to make the space, how to turn it all around. Allow, allow, allow the all now. Let go, surrender, be with me now. Allow me my fullness, allow me all now. So, man, the self-pity, rage, self-importance, impotence, stagnation, dist. I don't have a voice, I don't have feelings, I don't have challenges, I don't have wounds to heal, I don't have struggles or challenges that are just as valid. Do I not suffer? Do I not bleed? Do I not feel like a full human being? Why am I so frozen in this left wing? It's like there's only one story for the self-absorbed and mine isn't considered included or allowed because they are so convinced they've figured everything out and there is no other side or legit right for the other to tell or express, share, or have their own right to their stories, experiences, and being, ways of being. Claim your own right. So I claim my own right. I claim my own right to be. I claim my own experience. I claim my own fullness for me. Because that's what I can choose for me. And that's what I can be for me. And allow and receive and offer to me. And offer and extend to others to receive for themselves. So, claim your own right. And your own inclusion. Your own whole inclusion. Your own full experience. Clue you in. Go within. Breathe. Begin. Start over. Begin again and again. Begin again. Makes me irritable and angry still when there is no room for mutual will or true exchange, not being heard or received. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. Because I could tell, like, it wasn't just me, like, feeling those things. It was like that part of me that's related and connected to the goddess that hasn't been heard or seen or received, and she hasn't been allowed to be, and she's been suppressed, denied, and rejected. And she's been dishonored, and bound, because we haven't allowed. So she wants to be allowed. So let's allow. And let's be with her again. So this is good for you, the Hermit, alone, all one love for you. My validation, approval, permission, legit right to be, to live free, to be me, to allow all of me, to honor and include and unify me and we. And yes, it's been so hard at times and so frustrating to watch what's unfolding and be met with hostility for choosing to be true to me. My loyalty is firstly to me and thee and she. My loyalty is to me. My loyalty is to my love. My loyalty is mine to receive. My loyalty is my love for me. My loyalty is all love for me. I am a loyal friend. I am loyal to me. I am willing, so let it be. Still working on it. I'm still feeling angry, but I will allow this, and maybe, I'm still feeling angry, but I will allow this and be loyal to me. Maybe mad at myself for not being enough, mad at myself for making up stuff, lol, mad at myself for being too much, mad at myself for eating that up, mad at myself for not being tough, mad at myself for not allowing love, mad at myself for beating me up. For beating me and we up. So I'm very sorry. I give that all up. I am willing to meet and honor my challenges and release all that is no longer mine to burden with or carry. I'm willing to let all that's not true fall away and be offered back to love in service to the whole, through and for always. So, yeah, letting it go. And the ho'oponoponoing is good. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I release it all to thee. I release it to God, I release it to love, so that it can be set free. I release it to God to be healed and replaced. And yeah, I thank thee for releasing me. Yeah. So the devil, death, moon, and justice. Because that day I had put out those cards and I wasn't sure why, but it was just like, okay, that's right. It's intuition. We don't always understand what's happening through our intuition, but it's like a play thing, and our soul knows, and then we get to catch up, like, or receive it in certain ways. Like it's like that's like part of the hide and seek play of God playing hide and seek, and that's like the coolest thing too. It's kind of funny how we play with ourselves. We're hiding from ourselves, and then we find ourselves. So yeah, if we seek, we shall find. Devil, death, moon, and justice. I wasn't sure why I set those cards up yesterday, but now I do. That's funny how it all works and relates to the round of being. And the High Priestess and the Inner Teacher, the Hermit, the Tower, the Magician, the Chariot, Temperance, and Justice. Today was just as wow, even though it was all around the wheel in so many ways. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Fertility, inclusivity, prosperity, always, each part of the all one whole. All stages, phases, cycles, players, parts, wholes, fools, all for growth, life, sex, death, birth, all are true, expressions of being and becoming, empty, whole, full. So I surrender the need to conform, prove, or please. I surrender the need to find my place, my legitimacy belonging outside of me. I am the love I need, for and through all of me, we, she, and thee. Integration, navigation, orientation, initiation, transmutation, transformation, becoming all I am. Liberation, celebration, communication, remembering who I really am. Speaking up and claiming my truth, my legitimacy, my heart's truest truth. No one needs to understand me. Seems like that's what she's saying. But please allow me and be with me. Allow me to be all I am. I am willing. I release the need for understanding. I'll let it be. And so, yeah. Disallowance. Disallowance and frustration with the one that clenches her ass too tightly, holding on to dear life, lol. The one who's always right. The one who can't open her mind or heart to another story, point of view, experience, offering, sharing, other perspectives, other realities, non-ordinary, mundane, profane, and sacred. The other's feelings, intuition, vision, senses, wisdom, vulnerability, authenticity, and limitations. In your face, radical sovereignty and expression, connection, reception, honoring true exchange. Dishonoring the exchange is avoidance, to shun a true awakening, and the reunion of opposites. So not allowing that union, not allowing that wholeness and that fullness to be. So I'm tired of the attitude, the superior mothertude, the closed off prude, the better than you flu, the virus that infects the fear, or the virus that infects with fear, the vulnerable wound. You are not enough. Do what we tell you to. We know better than you. We are the authority. We will take care of you if you do what we tell you to do. LOL, crooks in a crock of shit, bullshit. Programming, Stockholm Syndrome, PTSD, social learning, conformity, tribal mind mentality, mob of culture, cult of personality. And so, trying to work through, like those feelings and those struggles and those inner conflicts that are coming up. And so, what I got there was like, okay, so let's check my attitude too. Like, I'll check my attitude if I'm seeing that attitude so much out there. Like, where can I adjust and shapeshift my, own tude? And like, how can I make it more empowering and work for me instead of being like a chip on the shoulder or block or armor that I'm wearing, that weighs me down. So, So openness and allowance and death, the death archetype, dying to it. Yeah. Being willing to let it go and not cling so tightly, yeah, to how it is or to what is right now, and to allowing it because it's got something for me. And even if like it's just for me to set boundaries or to be more of a boss, and put my foot down and draw a clear line in the sand, or ask for what I need, or be assertive, yeah, and what I need and what I'm asking for, and what, like, holding or honoring that accountability, like an accountability that I have for me, and then accountability in a relationship where there's mutual agreements that have been made, you know, yeah. So accountability. And so what am I accountable for? And I'm accountable, like, for my feelings. I'm accountable for my stories. I'm accountable for my actions. I'm accountable for my words. I'm accountable for my choices. I'm accountable for my life. I'm accountable for my love. And I'm accountable for my needs. Yeah. So, stories, resources, tools, play, practice, engage, allow, respond, create, express, be, let go, become, forgiving, for living, for being. Patience, faith, grace, accountability, integrity, impeccability, legitimacy, boundaries, strategies, camouflage, responsibility, discernment, willingness, love, compassion, fullness, receptivity, surrender all, be free. So, yeah, just let that be for now. There's something really cool that goes along. The dark night of the soul comes just before revelation. When everything is lost and all seems darkness, then comes the new life and all that is needed. Oh, it says, so the loss of a love and the pain of a broken relationship is an overload of projection. That's all it is. In youth, your whole life is this wonderful dream. This is it. This relationship is the fulfillment of my fantasy, and I can't imagine life otherwise. No argument can quell this feeling of total projection of everything in the other one. I guess we can all recall an episode of an adolescent relationship that seemed to be the all in all and then went to pieces for some reason. When a relationship breaks off, it takes a person a little while to settle and find a new commitment. It's after the break off, when there is no new commitment and life has been divested of all its potentials, that this painful reaction takes place. For some people, this is a dangerous period. The psyche knows how to heal, but it hurts. Sometimes the healing hurts more than the initial injury, but if you can survive it, you'll be stronger because you'll have found a larger base. Every commitment is a narrowing, and when that commitment fails, you have to get back to a larger base and have the strength to hold to it. Nietzsche was the one who did the job for me. At a certain moment in his life, the idea came to him of what he called the love of your fate. Whatever your fate is, whatever the hell happens, you say, this is what I need. It may look like a wreck, but go at it as though it were an opportunity, a challenge. If you bring love to that moment, not discouragement, you will find that strength is there. Any disaster you can survive is an improvement in your character, your stature, and your life. What a privilege. This is when the spontaneity of your own nature will have a chance to flow. Then, when looking back at your life, you will see that the moments which seemed to be great failures followed by wreckage were the incidents that shaped the life that you have now. You'll see that this is really true. Nothing can happen to you that is not positive. Even though it looks and feels at the moment like a negative crisis, it is not. The crisis throws you back, and when you are required to exhibit strength, it comes. So, the dark night of the soul comes just before revelation. When everything is lost and all seems darkness, then comes the new life and all that is needed. So I thought that was kind of cool. I love this book, Reflections on the Art of Living, the Joseph Campbell Companion. Yeah, got a lot of good stuff. I love him. Oh, he's such a wise teacher and a great storyteller. I love his stories. I love all the stories. The hero's death and resurrection is a model for the casting off of the old life and moving into the new. Not the animal world, not the plant world, not the miracle of the spheres, but man himself is now the crucial mystery. Man is that alien presence with whom the forces of egoism must come to terms, through whom the ego is to be crucified and resurrected, and in whose image society is to be reformed. Man understood, however, not as I, but as thou. For the ideals and the temporal institutions of no tribe, race, continent, social class, or century can be the measure of the inexhaustible and multifariously wonderful divine existence that is the life in all of us. So, life. Choose to live. And like, even as we go through like our dismemberment and our crucifixion and our collapse of the tower and our collapse of our ego and the collapse and the death of everything we've ever known, or our identities that we were attached to, or our beliefs that we were attached to. Sometimes like losing those beliefs are like losing our religion and losing ourselves or what we thought we were a part of, and that is like a death, you know. And so it is very painful sometimes, but then after a storm, you know, after the rain is a rainbow and sunny clear skies, and it refreshes everything and refortifies and nourishes. And so we need to, that help sometimes. Like we get to cut the old debris away, you know, like, and if we don't, like, it just causes us more and more and more pain until, you know, we get to that point where it's do or die sometimes. So sometimes we resist against it, but it hurts so bad, and it just, the harder we hold on to it, like, and the tighter we do, like, the more it hurts, and the more painful it is to let go sometimes. So we can give ourselves permission to let go, and like to be compassionate with ourselves, and to love ourselves, and to fully allow ourselves, to fully allow our feelings, to be with our feelings, to make that space, to you know, create and make that space to be with ourselves, and like really like, pay attention to what we really need, to what our being and our heart and our well-being is asking us to see and to be with and receive, because it is for our well-being, and it is for our highest good, and it is for our growth and what we'll become. And so I just wanted to share some of those things with you. And in my next video, I'll come back with some things about more alchemy tools and rituals, inspired ritual ideas, and how that can be like super powerful to integrate into our practices or into our lives, like just to connect, because it does alter our consciousness. And so that's like one of the cool things. It corresponds to the cycles of the moon and moon time and dream time and all of that. So pretty cool. And so thanks for listening, and being the fool. Being your own fool. Loving the fool. Playing the fool. Allowing the fool to be all the fool is in all her fullness. All for we. So take care of yourselves, be well, love yourself, be yourself, free yourself, own yourself, love yourself, embody yourself, free yourself and allow yourself, love yourself, be well. I'll talk to you again. See ya.